Johnny Duff, Johnny Duff. How we doing on WrestleRoni, Johnny Duff?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing?
I'm excited to have Johnny Duff on the podcast finally, man. I just got off work and I got you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just got off of work, ready to talk about whatever you want to talk about, Spooky Lou.
You want to talk about some wrestling?
Oh, let's talk about some wrestling. I love me some wrestling.
Okay, I'll tell you where we can start. I'll tell you what, a match I watched last night. Damn good match. Bash and Beckley 3, baby. ASW. That was a fun one. What can you tell me about that experience?
That was I've been fortunate enough to be a part of all three of those shows, and man, it's something else. We're independent wrestlers, we're used to, at most, we got maybe 500-600 people in the crowd to watch. But shoot, when you get over 1,000 in there, or you get last year, this past one, there was about 2,000 people in there. When they come unglued, man, it's something else. In that arena, honestly, it feels like you're at a house show for WWE or something. And especially with the talent that was brought in by Gary and Steve, that was just absolutely insane. I mean, to share the locker room with those guys that I grew up watching on TV, like Jay Lethal, John Morrison, Hawkins and Ryder, Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. It was insane. And getting to see some of the legends, like getting to meet Ricky Steamboat again and getting to see Papa Pump and Magnum TA, stuff like that. It's honestly, it's surreal. And if you'd have told me 4 years ago that I was going to be doing that, I'd be like, nah, you're full of shit. There ain't no way.
Anything's possible, man. West Virginia's popping. When you was growing up, would you think you'd see the day you was working a show with all those names?
Not a chance, man. Like I told you earlier, I started in 2019 there at the Violence Academy with Vance Desmond and Cole Cash and Jock Sampson. And, man, those guys just gave me so much information and pounded it into my head. And just, the smallest little minute detail that you can figure out how to make your own or whatever. Those guys have helped me so much to be able to get to that position. I honestly don't think that if it wasn't for those guys and my tag partner Logan, us just before and after shows, just going out in the ring and trying stuff and getting a feel for better things and just trying to hone in on the craft. I honestly think if it wasn't for those guys, there ain't, and other people obviously too that I'm forgetting that have helped me out tremendously. If it wasn't for those guys, there's no way that I'd be where I'm at right now. I'd still be just big dreams, wishing it happened.
You're fucking doing it.
But
you're doing it, man.
A bit earlier than I thought.
And I didn't know Jock Sampson was a part of your training. What can you tell me about Jock?
Shoot. I don't know. I don't know what I can without getting in trouble by the feds, man. I don't know.
Oh, no. Fair enough.
He's a hell of a great guy. There's a big difference between the Jock Sampson that everybody sees and the Darren side of him. It's really cool to see him be able to flip that switch and stuff. But, man, Jock was just such a heavy part of the way to work stuff. Just to hone in on the crowd, take a second when you're working matches and see what the crowd's doing and be able to kind of adjust things on the fly with the crowd. That guy's been wrestling forever. I grew up watching Jock. I was going down to the St. Mary's Marina there in West Virginia watching Jock and Shane Storm and Snake Man, Devin Michaels, all those guys down there. Them guys was a pretty big part of my upbringing along with the guys on WWE TV and TNA at the time. So it was, man, I think the best thing that I can tell you about Jock is he's straight up. No matter what it is, he's straight up. He's going to tell you 100% whether you want to hear it or not. If you're good, if you're bad, what you're going to be able to do in this sport realistically. Man, I think the biggest thing is he drives it home that this is not for everybody. I want everybody to try it. I would love for everybody in the world to step in the ring one time at a training session or something and get a feel for what we do. But he's absolutely right. This isn't for everybody. It's hard, man. It's a hard. He told us straight from the jump. He basically was just to make sure that we were going to want to do this and actually had the dedication for it. He straight looked at us and said, "What are you doing here? Do you hate yourself? Do you hate your family? Why are you here? Why are you crippling yourself and putting your family through this? Why are you here?" And if you didn't come back, then, I mean, it's unfortunate we lost a possible good talent, but at the same time, we don't want anybody, coming into this thing half-assed and either making the whole business look bad or the people that are training them or, God forbid, someone get hurt. So,
No
but
doubt.
yeah, Jock's just straight up cat. He'll tell you exactly how it is. Like I said, whether you want to hear it or not, he'll give it to you.
I've been a fan of his for years, like you, man. Like, I'm older than you, and I remember him being on shows. He was always my favorite part of the indie shows.
Oh yeah, man. Either whenever he was like, kind of halfway babyface, but then when he leaned big into that heel and started the jock strap chants, the fans was getting in on him and everything. That was highlight. I was like, looking back now, I was getting a firsthand ringside view of how to be a real downright no good, dirty, rotten heel.
Have you been a downright dirty heel?
Damn, I just about hit you with the today, Junior, but I didn't.
Well, I deserved it.
Dude, out here bumblefucking on his own podcast. What do you know about it?
I've got a big star in front of me. I'm nervous.
Yeah, big star. Where? Shoot, someone behind me? Hey, man, I was in one Cuban Assassin movie. Come on, I ain't no star.
Well, I wasn't aware of that. Which one was you in?
No, we ain't talking about that shit. Oh, no, it was that the boxer versus wrestler one. It was something. It was something.
Oh, yeah. I saw WrestleManiac was the one I saw. It's also something.
Yeah, it's a movie, I guess. It's a film.
No doubt. I love it. Now we're having fun. We're rocking and rolling. So you were going to indie shows as a kid. A lot of people on here weren't going to the indies. What can you tell me about checking out the West Virginia indie scene growing up?
So my indie scene growing up was, I thought there wasn't anything around here. I actually had no idea about anything other than WWE and TNA. That's all I knew there was. I didn't even know that there was anything in Mexico or Canada or New Japan. I was a pretty, we just had basic cable. We didn't even get SmackDown for a long time because it was bouncing around, show to show. So we had Raw on USA, obviously, and Impact on Spike, and that was pretty well it. But then Dad saw stuff down there at the St. Mary's Marina, and that's only about an hour and a half from Marietta, right outside Marietta where we live there. So it was that, and then I think maybe a couple shows down there in Belpre, and then a handful in Parkersburg, and that was pretty much it, man. We didn't really have – it didn't seem like there was a big indie scene, and now here I am actually a part of it and hearing the stories from guys like Shane Storm and all them dudes from back in the day. There's honestly a lot more places than I realized, and I think that's the biggest downfall even today with independent wrestling is there's no advertisement. You can't just share stuff on Facebook and call it good. You got to get out there. If you got trainees, make them little bastards run around town with their chickens with the head cut off and staple them damn posters all over telephone poles, tape them up in stores. I mean, the Facebook stuff's great. It is, but that's mainly for the fans that you already got. If you want to branch out and do more, I feel like that's the way to go. But yeah, man, that independent scene was it was something else because, like I said, we had Devin Michaels and Jock Sampson and Aaron Draven and those kind of guys and all the Lynch boys, Team Gay and stuff like that with Shane and the Lynch. I mean, it was shoot, man. It was something else. Looking back on it now, man, I can't believe that I'm getting to wrestle with some of those guys. And like I said, Jock was one of my trainers, so that was huge for me. My first I think my first indie show I was at, Jock was on it, and Shane, Devin Michaels. I'm trying to think if there was anybody else that I can remember that was on there. I mean, I'm seeing faces and stuff, but names are blanking me. Little too many concussions. But yeah, a lot of those guys was just doing a lot of crazy stuff that I had not really seen in person before. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we kind of grew up poor, so I didn't have the ability to go to any WWE shows or anything like that until I was pretty much in high school, I think, and helped pay for my own ticket and stuff. But yeah, the independent scene was crazy. Looking back on it now, realizing what I was watching, you know what I mean? Because as a kid, you really don't grasp it all what's going on in front of you. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, okay, it's a wrestling show. Here it is. But I mean, those guys were busting their ass. Some of those guys were getting on TV. They were on Impact a lot of the time. I mean, some of them even got to do some backstage stuff in the Fed. So,
Right.
it was, yeah. That's really all I can say about it, man. It was crazy.
You
It was
gave me
crazy.
plenty. That's plenty to work with. When was it? See, you got me fucking stuttering again. You got my head, you fucker. That's all right. What made it click? Going into heads here. What made it click in your head? I think I'm going to do this. What was the moment? When did you decide it?
Shit, man. First time I ever saw it. First time. Dad was a huge fan of wrestling growing up back in the 80s and stuff with the Four Horsemen and all those guys. So we were sitting there kind of bullshitting about, you know what I mean, the stuff we watched whenever he was a kid, you know what I mean? And he said that wrestling was on tonight and he really liked it if I wanted to try to check it out. I was probably 5 or so. It was definitely 2005. I remember that. So I might have been 6 or 7 at the time, depending on the month. You know what I mean?
Right on.
But it was the episode of Raw, the first match I ever saw of professional wrestling, period, like of any kind, independent or anything, even clips on the internet or anything. It was the Shawn Michaels and Shelton Benjamin match on Raw.
Oh,
When
okay.
hit the sweet chin music on Shelton off that springboard.
Uh-huh. And that was a solid episode other than that, too. I remember. Yeah.
Whole episode was fire. I saw Carlito, Chris Masters, all those guys for the first time on there. Bobby Lashley was getting his big jump then. I remember Santino, Umaga, and all those guys. And yeah, man, when I saw Shawn super kick Shelton, that was it. Game over. I was like, that's what I want to do.
Hell yeah. And here you are. You want to talk about inspirational moments? If, believe it or not, you were part of a big moment in my life, Johnny Duff.
Really?
I promise you, you were. The first RSW match of the first RSW show I went to one year ago, last July, Monongah. You were the first match. And y'all caught my attention. I said, this is a pretty decent Fed. And from there, I started a podcast. And from there, I started working with RSW. And here I am talking to you. What can you tell the listeners about your RSW experiences?
Oh, man, RSW's fun. It's so much fun. The locker room's great. Tim's a great guy. He really has an understanding for wrestling. Like, it's sad to say that a lot of people don't understand it, even, you know what I mean, workers in general or promoters, or I mean even some of the other inside people on it, like the people that help us set up with everything or run sound or you know what I mean, do the videoing and all that stuff. They just don't get it, man. And Tim gets it. He really has a good mind for the business. I mean, I'm not trying to kiss his ass or nothing, but
yeah,
I mean,
fuck him.
He's definitely, fuck Tim. Never mind. Yeah, fuck him. He ain't got shit. He don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. No, yeah, he's a great dude. He's funny as hell. He tries to put on a quality show from start to finish. No matter if it's a house show or if it's you know what I mean, a street fair or his normal building that he runs in, or if he's going up to Connecticut or if he's bouncing over to PA, he's got a quality show no matter what. He tries to bring in guys that he knows are safe and can work really good. And the locker room is just, it's so laid back. Nobody's got any, you know what I mean? There's no egos back there. There's no bullshit. You walk in. I mean, God forbid if somebody did have a problem with somebody, they tell them, you know what I mean, straight to their face. They talk it out right there, fight it out in the parking lot, and then they'd be brothers again by the end of the night. RSW is just, it's such a fun show to be a part of. And like you said, it's a quality Fed, a very good quality Fed. There's a lot of great talent there. And I've only kind of scratched the iceberg a little bit on getting to work some of them. So there's plenty of taters to be thrown around at RSW still for me.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to have you back. Do you know when you're coming back?
The 22nd, I believe, of July is the next time I'll be back down.
Cool.
Yeah.
We've got so many dates, I don't even know which show that is, but looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. It should be me and Willard teaming up, going against, I believe it's SNS is who we're squaring. So.
Okay. And
yeah.
I don't know if you're aware, SNS kind of coming up to your neck of the woods, up to PWL here coming soon too, so.
I did see that, yeah. Actually, that show, we were supposed to, all three of us Cowboys were supposed to be there just in case something were to go down, and Will and Logan will be down in North Carolina that day wrestling, and then they didn't realize they had that booked already. So, and then that's my baby shower. So I'm going golfing in the morning and then going to that. So I will. Unfortunately, we won't be down there for that. I'm kind of upset about it, but there'll be more. There'll be more.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let me tell you. Yeah, I get it. Believe me, like I don't give my children enough time sometimes because of wrestling, because I love it so
Right.
much. So, with this
Right.
kid on the way, cherish those moments. If you have to miss a few shows, wrestling's going nowhere, man. They grow up fast.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking I'll probably take the whole month of August off. He's due 23rd, I think, is technically the day, but I mean, they don't know shit. They don't know when he's coming. He'll come when he. But just to be on the safe side, I think my last show is the first week of August, second week of August, something like that for ASW. Their heat wave or summer heat. I can't remember for sure what the name of the show is, but yeah, that'll probably be my last one. Hopefully not for the year, but it might be. I don't know.
Understandable. Baby Duff on the way.
Yeah, that's right. Lane Duff.
Hell yeah, I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're
that news, how'd that change your outlook on things?
uh, you know, I don't know if it really has yet. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Uh, I don't. Yeah, I just don't think it has yet. Maybe when it gets here and I start, doing a little bit more stuff. But I think I pretty well. I mean, everyone's kind of always said that I'm a little bit of an old head. I got that old school mentality anyway.
Mm.
I think I'm. I think I was already a dad before I was a dad. If you feel what I'm saying.
Right on. I get it. Yup, I get it. Well, we're talking about folks close to your heart. Tell me a little bit about Willie Storm and Logan Taylor, how important they are to this journey.
Shoot,
Get
man, I'm
all
gonna try to put that
sentimental.
up a little bit here, but man, Logan has done more for me than I ever thought a 20-year-old could do for me. You know what I mean? Like, so the crazy thing that most people don't realize is we are actually brothers. He's my brother-in-law. My wife is his half sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when we started training together, it was really cool. We instantly clicked. I mean, we didn't really meet each other beforehand or anything like that because she lived with her dad, obviously, and he lived with his mom. So there's, you know what I mean? They really weren't around each other a whole lot. And she's 26. You know what I mean? He's 22.
Right
So
on.
pretty decent difference there in age. And like I said, yeah, she was in Ohio with her dad, and he was in Mingo with his mom, or Parkersburg. So or Mingo with his dad, Parkersburg with his mom. There we go. One of the two, somewhere over there in West Virginia. I don't know.
Yeah, scattered about.
I ignore them fuckers down there, but yeah, when we started wrestling, man, he would take his time and like chain with me before shows. We would always roll around at training and stuff, and I want to say it was maybe like I don't even think I was a year in yet. He said, "Why don't we be a team?" And I was like a real tag team? He's like, yeah, like a real tag team. We were actually going to be the Primo Guidos because we're both Italian also. Yeah, so we were going to be the Primo Guidos, and that was shut down pretty quick. Because I mean, Tim and Cash, or Vance and Cash, my bad. They see a lot more stuff than what you know what I mean we would see coming into it, and.
Right
Whether Logan likes to admit it or not, he was leaps and bounds. You know what I mean? Better than me. Not only because he had been training Tim and Cash for longer than I had been there, but and this is the main thing that he don't like to admit. He had been wrestling for like 3 years before he got to the Violence Academy. He's been wrestling since he was like 16, but it was for a company that's using very fucking loosely. Companies, yeah. He was working for a glorified backyard fed because I mean he didn't know any better. I mean, there ain't nothing around, there ain't shit to do around here. You see something and you're a young kid, you don't have any idea, and so he don't really count that, but I do because he was still learning. Whether it wasn't good information or not, he was still getting information. Whether it was to lesson learned or actual stuff that he can apply, either way, and he helped dump that into me also. And the amount of time on the road that we spent together and all the personal stuff. I mean, He's been there for me whenever I have, a hard time about my grandma being gone, or talking about all this stuff. If me and Carly are fighting, or if he's got something going on with his girlfriend, or he's got some trouble at the house or something, him and his brother are fighting. It don't matter what it is. We're always, right there for each other. And I just can't say enough for him and about him. And yeah, he's
Hell
just,
yeah.
for him to be as young as he is a class act and a very, very good man all around. Me and him we're both laborers. We have very labor intensive jobs. And for him to go out there on the pipeline and work 512s, slinging, gravel or dirt or all that netting and all that shit. Drying stuff out to try to put grass seed down so that way it don't slide out even more, fixing hillside slips and checking water pressures and all that stuff. He does all that and then turns around and we drive 5-6 hours to a wrestling show, beat the hell out of each other, and then drive 5 or 6 hours back home and then do it all again on Monday. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for Logan, and honestly can't thank him enough. And if it wasn't for my 3 trainers and some of the other people that I've got to work with, but mainly my 3 trainers and Logan, I don't know.
Hell
I don't know.
yeah. No, Logan's a damn good dude. I'm glad you put him over the way you did, because he is. He deserves his fucking flowers. What?
Yeah.
How'd Willie Storm get involved in the mix then?
Yeah, Willard. So me and Logan had already graduated from the Violence Academy, and I was basically one of 6 trainees that was still there at the Violence Academy, but I was the only one paying my dues. No one else was paying their fees. And Vance just straight up told me one day, he's like, listen, I'm not making you pay for this entire school. So we're shutting down. I can't afford to rent anymore. I told you guys from day one I would break even and not make a dime on this wrestling school, but I'm not gonna pay for you guys to learn if you're not gonna pay to help me learn you guys.
Hell yeah.
So it shut down and we started going down to Rocky Rage's House of Rage. And I want to say about a month or so into us going down there, they had a tryout. Who comes strolling in the door? Young Mr. Willard Storm.
Uh-oh.
And Logan and Willie actually went to high school together, so they knew each other really well, and they were good friends. And Logan was best friends with Will's brother Nano, God rest his soul. And they just, obviously, they were good friends already. So when he came in and I saw those two kind of gel well, I'm like, okay, this kid must not be bad. Then he might not be a bad guy. Well, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know how Will is.
I do.
He's a good boy, but he's a simple boy. That's what I always say. And when he first broke in, man, he was younger than what he is now, obviously. He was about 200 pounds heavier and probably the biggest fucking mark you had ever seen in your life. And not in a good way. And not in a good way by any stretch of the imagination. You can be a fan of this all you want, but you also got to realize if you're getting ready to start doing this, you got to dial that shit back. Not a lot, but fucking dial it back some, bub. Just a little bit. You can't teasing the whole time you're in the ring. You can't look like you're fucking lost all the time. You can't call anybody a superstar. God damn, that's not a compliment. Not a compliment. He's like, man, you're like a superstar. I'm like, that was not the right thing to say to that guy. Fuck.
Hey, man, I can relate to that shit. I'm like him all day. Whatever.
Right. But like fucking, I'd say probably about a couple months of us just kind of getting him to understand some stuff and really laying in some stuff to him. Punches, kicks, knees, a little lighten up here and there, whatever it may be. But Will's a great guy too. I honestly can't say enough about that kid either, because he's also like Logan. He's younger. He's a little bit. I think he's a year older than Logan.
Okay.
But they were in the same grade or whatever, and I ain't gonna get too far into it. But Will's been through a lot. Will has really been through an absolute fuckload for one human to go through, and for him to wake up every afternoon, because he works mostly through the night a little bit because he takes care of his grandma and stuff. For him to get up every afternoon with a fucking smile on his face and be happy and go lucky and go out there and make sure everybody else is okay and does all the stuff that he does is honestly, it's really impressive. It's honestly damn near inspirational to see him go from very shy, nervous, panic attacks out the ass. Like I said, he was he was over 400 pounds. I know that for a fact when he
Oh
first
wow.
started. Now, you know what I mean? You've seen him. He's like 230, 240. He can
Mm-hmm.
move like a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
He leaps and bounds in the ring so much better than what he was. And then as a person, he's always been a great guy. And it's just amplified more over the years. And I've got to have a lot of great moments with Will, too. Definitely more with Logan, just from the years of being with him. But, I was there for Will's first match in front of people from when he went from just training to finally getting the okay to ref shows
Mm-hmm.
to finally getting the okay to be able to wrestle on shows. And I watched him go from Iron Manning PWL shows. He'd ref all 8-9 matches of the night. He'd
Oh
be the
yeah.
dad, and he'd do it all. Never fucking bitch about it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? That's the way the independents are. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just don't get paid when you're starting out. You're a trainee. You're getting the exposure and the experience, and that's unfortunately just how it is. You know what I mean? For a
Yeah.
little bit anyway. And you know what I mean, he did some of those. He did some of those for $10. He did some of those for nothing, and for him to never complain not one time about it, and just go out there and do it, and take the advice from everybody, and just be a sponge while he was out there learning stuff from the people that he's reffing. And yeah, man, I can't say enough about both those guys. Really, really quality humans, and would beat the hell out of anybody
No,
that I. So
no doubt. And
they,
Willie's
they,
he's come leaps and bounds in the past year. He's really coming into his own recently. So props to Outlaw Willie Storm.
absolutely, Outlaw Willie Storm, El Assassino Logan Taylor, hella good guys.
No doubt. Good, grade A quality human beings. That's what we look for here
Really,
on WrestleRoni, by God. We've
that's
mentioned Violent Vance Desmond a couple times. We might as well give him his due. What can you tell the audience at home about the legend, Violent Vance Desmond?
Violent Vance Desmond. Uh, Man, it's going to sound like a broken record again, but another fucking quality human. Another very good quality human.
Damn
Uh,
good dude.
he taught us so much, not only about wrestling, but in life in general. Seeing him with his daughter, Fee, is grade A, how to be a dad, how to be a girl dad, 110%. To expose her to the things that she likes now, like basketball and wrestling, and them going to the gym together and all that stuff. That if it wasn't for Vance exposing her to that, she probably would never even realize that she was into that stuff.
Yeah.
She might, just because her dad's into it, but just to see them two click together, it's really cool to see him as a dad. As a trainer, he was like our dad, so that's what we called him, dad, and we called Cash mom. That's pretty much. And Jock was Uncle Jock because he's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Everybody's got that drunk, crazy uncle. So, but yeah, man, Tim's a hell of a guy. Hell of a guy. I can't say enough about him. He was one of the first people I told when me and my wife got engaged. He was one of the first people I told when we found out we was having a baby. He was the first guy I told when I had a tryout with Impact. He was the first guy I called after it was over to tell him how it went.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got to be on very many shows with him since inception. Quit running because he took a little bit of time off there for a while, and now he's really getting back into the full swing of it. And I've been on some shows with him at RSW and ASW, and man, it's crazy to, because he's one of those guys too that he'll tell you straight up whether you want to hear it or not. If you're shit, if you're good, if something was bad, if you know what I mean, he'll tell you the things that you know what I mean. He'll tell you look like shit or you sound like shit. You need to get better or anything like that. You know what I mean? And he's one of those guys too that's real big on you can be big and still be good. Just don't be unhealthy. And
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing is people don't realize the unhealthy part of it. And he's a personal trainer, obviously. He knows all the ins and outs of how to eat right and how to lift right and how to cheat when you want to cheat and not, you know what I mean, get the big side effects from it or whatever. And because I watched him eat a whole pizza. I watched this man eat a whole fucking Little Caesars pizza.
Mm-hmm.
A whole Little Caesars pizza. Take a couple swigs of water, and then he wrestled me for 12 minutes, just beat the shit out of me. It was my tryout match. And then afterwards, he got out and started eating more fucking pizza. I'm like, how do you look like you do and you do that shit? And he said, because I'm an animal. So,
I'm sure he did.
yeah, I mean, that motherfucker's died in the ring. If that tells you anything about him,
He's a,
his heart literally stopped in the ring one time. So,
yeah, he's
and he's
talked
still,
about it on the podcast, man. Like, wow.
yeah, that's wild. And the fact that I get to share a locker room a lot of the times with a guy that inadvertently killed my dad is pretty freaking cool too.
Only
That,
in wrestling.
yeah, I'm like, Super Oprah, there ain't no way. He's like, yeah, it was me. Big Chop. Big Chop. I was like,
Damn it,
yeah,
Super
the bump
Oprah.
brought him back. The bump brought him back. That's all it
Wow. You gotta
Chop
love
bump brought him back.
it. You'd mentioned an Impact tryout. I wasn't aware of that. What can you tell the audience about what was going through your mind that day? How'd the experience go? What was that like for you?
So ASW, that's another one of these companies in West Virginia that is just a quality show. Like you said, to Bash and Beckley,
Mm-hmm.
that was who put that on was ASW, and he had the Good Brothers come in for a show. And when they came in, they said, "Would you be interested in us doing a seminar, and then after the seminar, doing a tryout?" And Gary said, "Of course, we'll see who wants to sign up for it." And me and Logan jumped at it instantly because Tim Vance, he was actually in the asylum plenty of times on for Impact. So that was kind of like a goal for us. Is like that's our next step. It's Impact, OVW or NWA, whatever it may be. Any of that right there on that tier
Right
is
on.
kind of shooting for. So when that came around, we were pretty excited, very nervous, but that's one of those deals where you just gotta, you know what I mean, clench your asshole, bite down, and fucking pretend like you've been there before, and like this ain't nothing. You know what I mean? They might be superstars checking you out for a TV deal, but you got to look at them like they're your peers, and those guys are your coworkers, and that this right now is the time to do business and get your shit in and get yourself over, so that way they can have something to look at later on down the road. That actually was before me and Logan were teaming as the Rhinestone Cowboys. It was just he was doing his thing with Legion. I was generic babyface Johnny Duff. Um, we had our own separate singles matches that night for our tryout after the seminar was done and over with. It was Scott D'Amore, Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows. Those are the guys that were doing everything there with us. And I was very fortunate in mine. I got to work Chance Profit in my
Nice.
training in my tryout match there, and the advice that was given to me afterwards from both Chance and Luke and Scott was insane. The fact that partway through we did a big drill session where we ran a couple different drills during the seminar portion of it,
Mm-hmm.
and Luke came over to Chance and asked him what my name was. And he told him, and he kind of walked off, went over and was talking to Scott. And then after my match, I was standing there talking to Chance about it afterwards. They were standing off to the side watching the next tryout that was going on. And Luke comes over with like a purpose. And he's got his phone in his hand. And he asked Chance one more time what my name was, and then turned around, walked off on the phone.
Mm.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? What in the fuck is going on right now? We're getting ready to end the show and everything, and we're about ready to start wrapping up. Everybody's packing up, getting ready to leave, and Luke's coming down the hallway, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Gallows, do you have a second where I can ask you some advice?" And he said, "Yeah, man, anything. What do you want to know, kid?" And super sweet guy, very down to earth. He don't bullshit. I mean, you know what I mean? He could act like a superstar if he wanted to. He's been on TV for almost 20 years.
Right
He can
on.
if he wanted to be, and he wasn't. Total nice guy, absolute sweetheart. And he said that me and Logan should be a team. He doesn't give a shit what anybody says about me being a heel or him being a face. It don't matter. Pick one or the other and team. You guys look alike. You gel well. You have good chemistry. I can tell by you two standing here that you do like each other as friends. You know what I mean? So there's not going to be any of that animosity going down the road anywhere. I would honestly do it if I were you guys, and do it for a few more years. Bust your ass for the next 2 or 3 years. Hone in your shit. Send in your stuff in a couple of years, and I guarantee you guys are going to be somewhere. And that really solidified for us that we were going in the right direction. We're taking the right steps. We're doing the right things. Because there's a lot of I mean, there's a lot of negativity in pro wrestling, especially on the scene. There's a lot of people trying to hold you down, whether it's they're just got that old school mentality and don't care for the stuff you're doing, or they're worried about their spot, or they're just downright cocksuckers.
Yep, just hateful cocksuckers. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, people suck. Some people are great, and some people fucking suck. It's just, that's how it is. I like to be somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean?
You're one of the good ones, man. I know it. I know it in my heart. And good looks to Luke Gallows. Thanks for making sure the Rhinestone Cowboys was a thing. Us West Virginia fans, everybody on the East Coast, we're enjoying them. So thank you for that, Luke Gallows. Good looks.
Shout out Doc Gallows. Hell of a guy.
No doubt. No doubt. I know you got some crazy road stories or something crazy that happened at a show. Give the audience something wild, man. What's going on out there?
Oh, man. You want a road story or you want a show story?
Give me a road story and then give me a show story.
Okay. Let's see here. Oh, perfect. So me and are going down to North Carolina. All right, we're just driving down the interstate, fucking off, bullshitting, listening to music, singing songs, and we're just going down through the mountains, man. And he's not really paying attention, and I'm the one driving though. But I'm looking, and this car up to the front of me in the right lane looks like he's having a little bit of trouble. Yeah, you ain't a fucking kidding. Lo and behold, about 2 seconds later, I see his passenger rear tire go slow move completely out from underneath his car, go and catch up and go past his car, hit the guardrail, and yeet over the fucking mountainside.
Oh, shit.
And his car just slams, and he's a fucking dragon throwing sparks down the interstate. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on right now? I don't know how, but somehow hitting them potholes over there in West Virginia before we got into it was just before you get, or just after you get into Virginia, I think is what it was. Somewhere down there around Wytheville or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it was wild. I could not fucking believe that. We still talk about that to this day. We'll just be driving down the road and something crazy will happen because I get shit for it all the time because I'm from Ohio, but I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I've drove all over this fucking side of the coast, from Georgia to fucking New York, and West Virginia and PA are by far the worst goddamn drivers I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I hate the whole state of PA. That's shoot. Sorry if you live there. Sorry if you're from there. Don't care. Hate your accent. Hate your state. Hate your mountains. Hate it all. Don't care. Pirates suck. Steelers eat shit. Penguins club them. Don't care.
Damn, heel turn.
Yeah,
Jeez.
sorry, man. Yeah, man, those guys, they can't drive. Most of them are assholes. I've never had a good experience in PA, so I just kind of, I'm like the one Ohio guy that is like, Michigan's whatever, PA can suck it.
Damn, hate on them.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it's hate. Very strong disdain. I'd say that's probably a better word for it.
I appreciate that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Them West Virginia drivers are kind of crazy, and shoot. We see a lot of crazy stuff on the road, but every time something kind of wild happens, it's always, man, it'll never top that time we was going down to Mount Airy, though. Yeah, he ain't fooling.
Yeah,
that was something.
You're talking about crazy West Virginia drivers. Me and Billy was on our way to a PWL show a couple weeks back, and just out of nowhere, bro, this nice-ass sports car just came out of nowhere, boom, around us and was gone. And I looked at Billy, I said, God damn, Need for Speed. Like, it was like we was in the damn game. He was gone. He beat us.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, they're out here just, I've always said it, there's no reason the average person can get their driver's license and get in a car. I have a Ford Fusion that I drive to work every day. You know how fast that motherfucker goes if I take the governor out of it? 160. That's
Okay.
ignorant. That is ignorant that the average person could go 160 miles an hour if they take a chip out of their car. If the chip stays in, it's 110. What?
Still.
What? Yeah, that's crazy. I'm like 90 tops. For emergency situations, you got to bail away from something. You know what I mean? Whatever. 90, I feel like that's more than plenty, especially for the average driver. I don't think the average person should have their driver's license, but, you know, it's whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen some crazy drivers, not just West Virginia and PA. I've seen them all the time in Ohio, down in Georgia, you know, North Carolina. I've seen them all over the place, and it blows my mind that some people can walk straight and talk at the same time, let alone drive a 1,200-pound vehicle around.
Yup. When I first started driving, my dad said the most important thing. He said the most important thing I can tell you. Worry about the other idiots. Watch the idiots. And it saved my ass a few times. You got to watch them.
Defensive driving, absolutely. Got to always be on your toes. You never know what's going to happen.
Johnny Duff saving the roads, by God. Give me the crazy show story now. What the hell's going on out there?
Crazy show story. Damn. Trying to think of one that's not going to get anybody in trouble.
Well, the way we tiptoe around that, you just don't name names.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you can tell 4 or 5 if you want. Shit.
All right, I got a good one. So, a certain legend of the wrestling business, won't name any names, but he is a Hall of Famer in the WWE. So, that puts a little more juice behind this story.
Juicy.
But he's in the back, and he's talking to us and bullshitting with all of us, like them old boys do. And he's getting into it and having a good time. And I can tell it's like, he's kind of enjoying himself like it was back in the day. He's just bullshitting with the boys. We're out back, and he starts kind of showing us some cool chain stuff it's pretty shooty. If you want to use it in real life, you can definitely use it in real life.
Okay.
And, man, he grabbed one of these trainees up, and he said, "You ever heard of that double wrist lock?" And I was like, "Double wrist lock?" And I was like, "No, I don't think so." Everybody's like, "No, I don't think we've heard of it." That old boy, he'll scoop your arm up under his arm right here. Mm-hmm. So then you're kind of laying like this across his arm. Okay. And he'll grab your wrist, and he'll say, "Now just be real loose with it. Be real loose." And then when you get real loose, he'll just kind of start, shaking your hand a little bit. You ain't thinking nothing of it until you look down and realize you got a limp hand like this, right by his crotch. And it looks like you're cracking his hog. Man, I've been waiting to see some trainees and try that shit. That's funny as hell.
Hell yeah.
We're standing there. It's a whole bunch of us guys just standing around. There's some of the girl workers there too, but I count. The way I look at it is, if you're gonna be out there beating the shit out of each other, you're a brother. You're my fucking brother. There ain't no sickness. There ain't none of that fucking stupid shit. You're my brother. So all of us boys are standing around bullshitting with basically our grandpa. You know what I mean? And he's got everybody around. Man, that trainee got red in the face. Oh, he got so red. He was like, oh, he got all embarrassed. It was funny as hell. We was all cackling, dude. It was a great, great time. And a lot of those old guys are like that. They play a lot of pranks like that, where it's something that could be, pretty embarrassing if the cat got out of the bag sometimes. But for the most part, it's just harmless shit that catches you off guard. Don't realize what's going on, or you're not paying attention. Next thing you know, your fucking gear bag's gone. It's hanging up in the fucking shower somewhere by the head. You're not even thinking to fucking look up. You know what I mean? You're looking down on the ground, can't find it. Or they take your hairbrush, fucking old boy borrows your squirt bottle. You'll get it back 3 months from now at the next show you're at with him. Wrist tape. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Johnny Duff will be the last motherfucker out of that locker room every time, and he'll be gathering up that loose wrist tape. You bet. You bet. But yeah, before shows and stuff, we'll mess with each other like that.
Sounds like fun. You're having fun, man. Are you having fun for the most part?
That's right. Yeah, having fun's the most part, and I think we are. I feel like we are. We go out there, and sometimes Logan's not on our team or whatever, because he's like I said, he's been at RSW for a hell of a long time. Yeah. That was like, once he kind of got away from that shit fed, he started working at RSW and getting introduced to some good people. So he's been with RSW for a while. So they got different plans with him and some different stuff going on, which is fine. We don't mind. You know what I mean? We're here to do business. Whatever's going to get our exposure out there, whatever's going to get us going, that's the kind of stuff that we're into. And I think that's the biggest thing that we've realized over the last year is we're able to have more fun with it. We're really able to dial in and make sure the fans they're entertained, asses are getting kicked, asses are in seats, and everybody goes home happy at the end of the night.
I know the shows I'm at, the fans are definitely happy. They're into it. They're having fun. This is a question I've been asking folks recently. I'm trying to put over the West Virginia scene because I think we got something super special going on. In your amount of time,
Sorry about that.
Oh,
My
you're
bad.
good.
Hey, there we go. My
Oh,
bad.
oh, now sideways. Special effects, folks. Look at these Spielberg special effects we got here on fucking WrestleRoni.
Hey, sorry, man. Gotta. Oh, hey,
Oh,
bam.
oh,
Sorry
man.
about it. Had to answer the wife back. She's on her way down to Huntington for work. So,
Oh, yeah. The wife's more important than WrestleRoni. I promise you that.
well, hey, I don't know. I don't know. You got a pretty mouth. I don't know. I don't know.
Back to my question.
Yeah.
I've been putting over the West Virginia scene. I've been saying it for months. There's a perfect storm brew, and I think we're doing really good. Just in your short time in the scene, what positive changes have you seen, if any?
um. Damn, I don't know. I don't. You know what? Fuck it. I've never held back before. I ain't gonna start now. It's the pedophiles getting the fuck out of my locker room.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
the best part about pro wrestling nowadays is that people are done turning their fucking head and looking the other way at stupid shit. If girls are making feel uncomfortable, we're gonna beat the fuck out of you in the locker room until you fucking realize you don't treat women like that. If you're being overly aggressive towards the fans, we don't have that shit. If you're, you know what I mean, you think you got a big head on you, you think you're something special, we're not afraid to fucking put you in check. All that shit is prime example. Don't care. TJ Phillips, fuck that guy. He's an asshole. I'm glad that he is not around most of the independent wrestling scene anymore in West Virginia. He was an absolute fucking cancer. And I didn't even hardly be around the guy. And I just all the people that are genuine people that don't have a problem with fucking nobody, wouldn't say boo to a ghost, don't like him.
Yep.
So that's and the
You're not the
experience
first to
I've had
say
with
it.
him and guys like that, you know what I mean? There's it's the just getting the pieces of shit out of the locker room is the biggest thing. And the ones that are half-assed doing it. I'm not saying that it's not okay to just want to be an independent wrestler because that's completely fine. If I never make it on TV, I hope I do, but if I never do, I'm fucking satisfied doing this right here. But the ones that go out and wrestle 2 times a year and go home and tell everybody they're a pro wrestler, for the most part, them guys are gone. They're not around anymore. The guys that want to tell everybody that their wrestling is shit because it's not 5 minutes of well, this guy sucks. No, that guy's good. You know what I mean? Some shit does work still. Some shit's still great, but some shit was shit back in the 70s. Nobody willing to admit it. But yeah, I think that's honestly the best part about the independent scene anymore is there's not as many douchebags just meandering about in the locker room. There's not as many haphazard people. There's a lot more helping with whether it's move set, gimmick, getting booked somewhere, locker room etiquette, anything like that. There's always just so many people that are willing to help anybody. And I think the biggest thing is that the vets around here now are getting to the point where not saying they're old, you know what I mean? Because they're very much not. They're still going out there and doing 20, 25, 30-minute matches, tearing the fucking house down in
Right.
front of 600, 700, couple thousand people. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But they are, in their own right, definitely getting older, you know what I mean? And they're realizing it, and they're starting to kind of take a step back and realizing that maybe my new role is to make the next generation better and to kind of step away from my shit. Or I'm going to keep my shit rolling and build up the next generation at the same time.
Right. Hell yeah.
That's honestly awesome. It's guys like, you know what I mean, whether people realize it or not, Shane Storm, Jock Sampson, Ron and Bruce, DD Trash, those guys. Warhorse are great dudes. The Heat Seekers, great guys. They've been huge influences on us. Other vets they're vets to us, but not necessarily vets to everybody type of shit. You know what I mean? But, I mean, they've been doing it 12, 15, 20 years, some of them. So, I mean, Jock and Shane obviously up on the higher end of that, but then, you know, Ron and Bruce, got Zayden Kane, guys like that. And then I also got guys that I consider vets because they were predominantly better than me whenever I first started seeing them. They might have only been 2 years into the business, but they're my vet. You know what I mean? Like Noah Ray, Logan Taylor, Dustin Alexander. I don't know if you would know Jack Manick or not, but that crazy motherfucker, he don't anymore, unfortunately. He had too many back problems there and had to hang it up. But Jack Sharp, another one there. Just there's a lot of people that are, a few years ahead of me. Huff Manley is another one. Me and Huff have actually been wrestling close to about the same amount of time, but he's had way fucking much more experience than me. He got to travel with Rocky a lot on the road there, and he got to learn a lot from him, and he brought that back and kind of started passing it around to everybody too. So, yeah, if it's not the pieces of shit out of the locker room, it's the vets being genuine, trying to help. I think that's the nicest thing anymore. Because hearing the stories from back in the day about how the vets were is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Like, you're telling me that just because I messed up one little tiny stutter steps or something in the ring, you're going to beat the ever-living fuck out of me in front of people? Yeah, and no.
And when you say back in the day, we're talking like 3 years ago this shit was happening.
Yeah, that's the bad thing is like everybody's hearing all these crazy stories about the 70s and the 80s and shit. Fucking 2015, 2016, 2018, that shit was still happening. 2020, that shit was still very predominant. I don't think people realize how bad 2020 was for pro wrestling, not only because of the fucking pandemic or whatever, but I mean just everything in general, because whenever that shit's going on and people are they're nervous. They don't know what's going on. They don't know whether they can go out and do stuff. And hey, man, scum draws flies every time, every fucking time. So,
and I think it shows.
I think after that. Well, sorry, man. We're gonna keep dancing. You keep letting me.
Well, you can't see me, so I know how it goes. But I was gonna say, I think it shows in the product. You talk about these pieces of shit getting rid of them. I think the fans are having more fun. The boys are having more fun. It shows, man. I honestly believe that. I think the scene's doing better than ever.
I think so. I'm with you. I see more fans coming out to shows. Like, there's obviously always going to be the diehards that come out to wrestling shows, but to see the few people that are sprinkled in here and there that I ain't never seen before, and then I come back, in the next show or a couple shows, and they're back again, and they were telling me, man, the first show we were at was a couple 3 months ago, and we saw everybody, and man, we just couldn't believe it. That Saturday night special, or that Jeff Paul, we love seeing him get his ass beat, or Shane Storm, we love seeing him get knocked around. We love seeing the powerhouses, or whatever it may be, the gimmicks or whatever, and getting to see the fans really come into it more is, I think pro wrestling is about to hit a huge surge again, like it was in the 60s and the 50s, and there was, local arenas that were selling out 20,000 people to watch 8 matches of the top talent in the world that nobody's either ever heard of or they're sleeping on bad.
Yep. I've been saying the same thing. It's I call this the greatest era. Like, wrestling's never been more accessible. You talk about the pieces of shit being gone. So now those pieces of shit are gone. Now we're building bridges back that those pieces of shit burnt, and people are working together that didn't work before because pieces of shit was saying, hey, this guy don't like you. This guy don't like you. Well, no, I never said that. Let's work together. And boom, here we are.
Yeah, and all that clicky bullshit ain't around no more either. There's not, well, he's my buddy, so I got to put him in the main. No, your buddy's dog shit, and he's going to fucking kill somebody. Yeah, not a chance. Sorry, champ.
I love it.
Saying?
Man, this interview has flown by. We're in the final 10 minutes. Can you believe it?
10-minute warning, baby.
10-minute warning. Any merch you want to sell, any upcoming shows, get out those socials. The platform's yours for 6 minutes, my man. Whatever you want to put out in the ether, have at it.
Dude, 6 minutes. All right. I got 6 minutes to tell you how big a piece of shit Logan Taylor and Willie Storm are. I can't stand those cocksuckers. No, wait, fuck. Now, edit that out. My bad.
Fuck them.
Yeah. We got a lot of cool pictures that we have for sale at shows. We got some little wooden... I do a lot of woodworking stuff, so I did some wood burning on some souvenir stuff. It's got all 3 of our initials on it with the Rhinestone Cowboys on the front. We got some cool little trinkets like keychains, pins, bandanas, sheriff badges, cowboy hats, of course. We always got to sell the cowboy hats. We got me and Logan have shirts. I don't know if Will has any shirts in right now or not, but he will be. Man, I think we're about to be getting some Rhinestone Cowboy shirts. That's in the works. We are getting a new logo made, and new gear will be coming for us as well. Some new colors. Like I said, my next show for RSW is July 22nd. ASW in August. Nah, I ain't got my schedule in front of me, so I can't remember for sure. But I'll be taking a break in August. Like I said, the baby coming. But I do believe Logan and Will still be trooping hard. No problem. They'll still be rolling. So, and obviously all of our other friends and enemies and things like that are going to be at all these shows still. So definitely go out and check them out. I know RSW's got a lot of good shows coming up in July. Looks like Tim's keeping them pretty slam-packed over there, keeping you busy too with all that recording.
God
but,
bless it.
It's fun.
Wouldn't want it any other way.
That's right. I'd rather stay busy wrestling than stay busy at the house trying to figure out how to not, you know what I mean, lose my mind because I ain't wrestling. So that's that's another big thing that we've been trying to work on the last couple of years is really getting our name out there and getting to some quality promotions because, like I said, there's a lot of places you just don't know. You don't know what it's like till you get there. That's a lesson learned, whatever. You eat that lesson and go on. But for the most part, like you said, the independent scene around here, there's a lot of top quality companies around. In our area alone, I can think of 3-4 really great promotions to work for.
Yep.
RSW, ASW, PWL, BGW is really good. Conquest is also really good. So that's 5 right there, all within like 2 hours of Charleston. One of them is in Charleston pretty much, and then the other one's right on the outside area of it. You know what I mean? PWL is down there in Beckley or Mount Hope, I should say, is actually the name of the town. And then ASW is in Madison, Milton, and Beckley. And then like we was talking about earlier, RSW's got them all over West Virginia, PA. He goes to Connecticut sometimes. There's some in Ohio up near the lake. So check out as many independent shows as you can, regardless if the Rhinestone Cowboys are on it or not. But if we're going to be there, you better be there because it's going to be a hell of a time.
Yeah. I'll put you over right here, man. When you guys come out, it's just a good time. The fans are rocking. You guys always give me just the funnest footage for my channel, so thank you for that. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being the real and putting that shit out there, man. I knew it would be a fun one.
Hey, absolutely, man. Like I've always said, I ain't never lied before. There ain't no reason to fucking start now. In this life, you got 2 lines of people. On the left side, you got everybody that loves you. On the right side, you got people that can't stand you. And you walk down the middle and give them both the finger. Because on one side knows you're fucking with them and the other side can get bent.
There you go. Life advice from Johnny Duff. You heard it here first.
Take it with a grain of salt, though, because I'm also a fucking idiot.
And you've had me stutter the whole fucking interview. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me, but...
Because I'm pretty.
Well, I mean, let's call a spade here.
Shoot. You're going to make Cowboy blush.
Both married men, by the way, but that's
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, there ain't nothing gayer than 2 straight married men, dude. You know that.
It's been another quality episode with another grade A quality human being. Come out and check.
Grade B. I'm grade B. A's pushing it. I'll take B.
I'm giving you an A. I'm giving you an A for the interview. I make the rules on that one. I'm sorry.
All right.
It was
hostile. Okay, whoa.
Johnny Duff on Facebook. Look him up. See what the hell's going on. Let's see what. Can't wait to have you back on in the future.
Hey, man, can't wait to come back. Yep, Johnny Duff on Facebook, Johnny Duff 10 everywhere else. Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Hit me up. Don't care. I'll get a hold of you.
He'll get a hold of you. Go buy a cowboy hat. I'll ask you to hang on the line here with me for a moment. But to the listeners, you know how we do. Treat each other with kindness and respect. Go out there and live your dreams. You might just talk to a sexy man and stutter for an hour. You never know. We love you. Next episode, wait till you see who we got coming up. Big things popping. July 5th, 1-year anniversary show. Episode 100, going live. Don't miss it. Till then, we'll see you next time.